Have you just bought the Fenix A320 from Microsoft Flight Simulator and you need some help with the EFB? Then you've come to the right place with this new FSElite tutorial video. The Fenix Simulations A320 comes equipped with a fully fledged EFB that is brimming with features and details. In this video, I'll show you how to get started with the EFB, how to use its many features, and some other important information that will prove very useful to you. And then finally, I'm going to show you how you can get the EFB on an external device so you can use it even when away from the simulator. During this video as well, I'm going to assume you've made the SimBrief flight plan and you've also added your SimBrief username to the Fenix app. So here is the Fenix EFB within the A320 itself. As you can see, it is modeled on other popular tablet devices. You have one on the captain's side and another on the first officer's side, both of which can be hidden with clicking the microphone click spot. So as you can see on the tablet, we've got the current date, local time, and also Zulu time, as well as the current charge for the device, but a little bit more on that in just a moment. Once you first load the EFB, you will need to log in. The code for the login is 0000, but you can also hover your mouse over the fingerprint button to unlock the tablet device. Once you're in, you'll be able to see multiple options for the Fenix tablet. The first is the Fenix settings, then it's departure performance, arrival performance, Navigraph, pilot brief, and finally settings. You'll also see two buttons at the bottom right for more details on how to use the tablet on an external device and delay allocation codes. So I'm actually going to start first with the settings app, as there are many parts of the plane you may wish to configure. But also there's information in here about the flight mode, which you can toggle on and off, which you'll need to do following pushback. You'll be able to adjust the brightness for the EFB here under the brightness controller, and also you can input your SimBrief username and also connect to Navigraph. You can also choose the chart mode and also look for the sim settings by tapping on that button just there. Or if you're having issues with the EFB, then you can reboot the application itself. You can also turn off the EFB by using the sleep mode, and it will slowly go to sleep. Anyway, to wake up the tablet, you just need to click anywhere on the screen. After the device wakes up, you will need to unlock it, and a quick point to note is that at any time you wish to return to the main menu, you will just need to click on the circular button on the right hand side. So perhaps the biggest part of the EFB is all contained within the Fenix app. At the base of the tablet, you will see that there are various tab options. You've got My Flight, Ground Services, Mass and Balance, Panel States, and Sim Settings. So let's go through them one by one. Starting with My Flight, here you will be able to import your SimBrief flight plan. Click on the box and your flight plan will automatically populate. You will then be able to cycle through different cards. The first card is an overview of your flight. You'll be able to see how long until you have the departure, and you can also re-import your flight plan and also adjust the departure time as well. The second card is for the latest weather and ATIS information for airports in your routing. This also includes the alternatives. You'll also be able to view the latest ATIS information sourced from VATSIM. The final card shows your routing information, and clicking on the view map will do just that. It will show you a flight route of your flight plan. Heading in now into ground services, you'll be able to see a nice selection of options here that are mostly to do with some of the external stuff. The toggles really do speak for themselves. Toggling the GPU will bring the GPU unit, same with chocks and cones. You'll also be able to open the doors 1 and 2 left and doors 1 and 2 right, as well as also the forward, aft and bulk cargo doors. What you'll also see is a nice visual representation of everything happening on your aircraft on this image here. You'll also be able to connect the tug and do a pushback as well. So let's look at mass and balance. This cool menu option allows you to see the current mass and balance of your plane. If you have imported a flight plan from SimBrief, you will automatically have the passenger figures loaded. Should you wish to change that, then you can do so by clicking on the pencil icon and adjusting the loads pretty simply just there. You can also set the cargo capacity and the fuel from here as well as also in the MCDU. Once you have set that, you just need to click on Load Aircraft, and you can choose from loading the aircraft in real time, fast, or instantly. If you have the options for the doors to open automatically for boarding, then this will also happen as soon as you've made your selection. If you choose fast loading, for example, you can watch the plane load up with a visual image. It's really cool to see the seats fill up. On the left hand side, you will see the weight and balance chart that will help you determine if you're loading the aircraft within the flight envelope. As the plane loads, you will see the red and white circle move. And just for that extra touch, you can also see a passenger manifest by clicking the PAX info list as well. As for panel states, this is more of a menu option than an actual tab, and hovering over it will give you the option to start the plane in cold and dark, turn around with the APU or PCA, or simply just ready to go. Once you then pick the panel state, you can either activate it or set it by default for your next flight. Once we're happy with panel states, let's now check out the sim settings. And this is the final tab within the Fenix app. Here you can change numerous aircraft settings on the fly. In airframe, you can change the standby instruments and also the DDRMI, and these changes are reflected in the aircraft without having to reload the aircraft. In airline modifiable information, you even have more options. You can add an FLS, engage auto TCAS, and also adjust the default acceleration height. There's also the ability to add brake fans and so much more. If you've downloaded a livery, these are also set to the standard that the airline probably already has. If you haven't already noticed, there is a fully detailed cabin behind the aircraft, behind the cockpit door. If you want to turn that off, you can do so under the cabin option, as well as adjusting the cabin lights. And as you can see here, just simply toggling it on and off adds that cabin or removes it, depending on what you need for your performance. Controls speak for themselves, as well as the call-out options, and finally the unit options allow you to pick from a number of different units for measurement, distance, pressure and weight. So let's now check out the departure performance. This application will give you the takeoff performance data that you need to successfully take off. You can input the ICAO code, runway, and then also sync up your load sheet from SimBrief, as well as importing the weather. You will then be able to adjust aircraft configuration, and also you can choose from any of the intersections that the runway has. Once you're ready, you can then click on Calculate, and this will gather the necessary information that you need in order for you to then put the information manually into the MCDU yourself. As of right now, there is no way to just kind of transfer that data right over. Next up is arrival performance. This will calculate your landing performance to make sure that the runway you're landing on is suitable for your aircraft and weight. Start by adding in the airport runway and information, and you can also choose what the current runway conditions are also like. Next, you'll be able to sync up the weather so you have the most accurate information possible. You'll be able to then choose from different conditions such as your landing weight, auto brake level and flap settings. If you also had any in-flight issues such as an engine failure or a braking issue, then you can also add that to the landing distance procedures as well. And as you'll be able to see on the right hand side, you can see a visual representation of all of this in progress, giving you an accurate representation of what your landing distance will actually be. The next app is all about Navigraph. Now, before you can use this, you must have a paid subscription to the Navigraph charts. Once you've signed in, which is done via a QR code, you can then import your SimBrief flight route and then automatically have the charts that you'll require for your duration of your flight automatically imported. You'll be able to view everything from ground charts and departure charts, and also what is really neat is that you will have a little icon displayed on the chart which represents exactly where you are in relation to that chart itself. Furthermore, you can also use this pen tool to then be able to draw accurate information onto the chart, and this is really useful if you want to plot your taxi route, or if you want to put information on there about which runway or taxiway is actually closed. The final application on the EFB is the pilot brief. If you have a sim brief route, again, you can import your operational flight plan. This means you'll be able to see easily the details you need about your routing, your fuel, weather, and also the NOTAMs. You can see how easy it is just to import by clicking a button, and boom, there's all your data. If you do need a bit of extra help, you'll be able to also access the checklist for the A320, and also there's some documentation for the Fenix A320 in the EFB under the document section. From the home screen, there's another box near the bottom called Delay Allocation Card. If you have a route from SimBrief imported, you'll be able to get a scheduled departure time. But if you do push back a little bit later than what that time is, you'll then get a message asking what that delay code is. You can then use the EFB to help you find that code. Another thing I mentioned earlier is about the EFB charging indicator. This is important as your EFB can actually run out of battery. You'll notice that the EFB is currently plugged in and charging. However, if we remove this cable, you'll see that it stops charging. Once it does reach 0, it means the battery will drain and you'll be unable to use the EFB until you plug it back in. Another thing to note as well is that within any app, you can easily hover over the top and you'll bring up a quick access menu to any of the EFB apps as well. This gives you quick access to everything you might need. Now, one of the coolest features on board with the onboard tablet is the ability to have it on pretty much any external device. You'll have your device connected to the same Wi-Fi connection as your simulator, and you'll also need to grab the local IP address. To do this, go to your network settings in Windows, click on Properties, grab your local IPv4 address, and then from your external device, open your favorite web browser and type in that IPv4 address followed by a :8083, and it will look something like this. You'll then need to ensure that your firewall allows access to the 8083 port in order for it to work. Once done, you'll then be able to access your Fenix A320 on a bunch of devices and interact with it exactly the same way as which you can do within the aircraft itself. The Fenix A320 EFB is extremely powerful and extremely useful, even more so when you hook it up to an external device. I hope that you found this overview of the Fenix A320's EFB very useful, but if there was anything you thought I missed or need a little bit more clarification on, then do just leave a comment down below and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. But that's everything from me today. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button so that we can continue delivering amazing flight simulation content straight to you. Thanks again for watching. My name has been Callum, and I will see you again on the next video.